Hello everybody, this is Frowny13 here, and yes, it has been a little while since I left the live stream, but welcome to another stream. This one I will get into just a minute. I have to just make sure that all the systems are working, and yeah, just making sure my systems are, all the systems are working, all the systems are go. So I need to make sure this is all public. I need to make sure that YouTube isn't being stupid. I need to make sure that everything, just generally I need to make sure everything is going good. Because if it isn't and everything's absolutely terrible, then then everyone's gonna say what a bad stream this is. But yes, hello once again, hello everybody. This is Frowny13 here, and welcome to Talkshow episode Ryan Priest, aka number 47. Well, I'm numbering it Ryan Priest because Ryan Priest is not around number 47. And I really like Ryan Priest, so yeah, bit of a strange episode number, but that's how we're gonna do it for today. Anyway, with that having been said, this is a stream that I'm doing purely because of the fact that school tomorrow, Labor Day, Bill, yeah, well, I don't really care about that. So anyway, but yeah, so today is Labor Day. I don't know what Labor Day is about. I would say Happy Labor Day, but I don't actually know what it's about, so I'm not going to see anything in this live stream in regards to Labor Day. More so I'll be focusing on the events of what will be happening in my life tomorrow, that being school. So yeah, of course, I've titled the stream, episode, number of Ryan Priest, the Rambilings of School. So this episode I'll be mostly talking about the fact that school tomorrow, pretty much what the description said. I may talk about a few other things that have happened, in the thing, but you pretty much like, Russell, what are you saying? I didn't say, well, okay, I know I once said that, I wasn't going to do very many live streams, but I'm doing this live stream because reasons, so, yeah, if you guys, weren't aware of this live stream until 2 hours ago, or you haven't been aware of the live stream until now, then, apologies, I guess, but I guess if you want to leave in the if you watch this back and you want to leave in the comment section about what your previous experiences about school, leave in the comment section down below. Yeah, I'll talk about school in a minute, but I guess I want to get into introductions because I haven't done a live stream since early July now, so it's been about 2 months since the last live stream for reasons that I stated in my most recent update video. And of course, in the update, I've talked about a lot of stuff, and in this live stream, I'll be talking about well, I say quite a few more stuff. I'm not going to talk about much besides school, I guess. So, yeah, not much really to say besides school. So, yeah, nobody's here besides Russell. Yeah, so I guess let's get into it. So, let's get into it. So, yeah, now to get into the bread and butter of this live stream. School. We all love it. No, we don't. Yeah, so school is gonna be a thing. Apparently some of you guys have already gone to school before me. I guess some of you guys start school in, like, mid-August, which is a bit, a bit weird to me, because in all of the years I've gone to school in my life, I have always started at some point in either very late August or after, or the day after Labor Day in September. And it was I'm trying to really change it to big. It's supposed to be a bit of a sausage. Well, it actually doesn't type anything. I just look at his words. I'm just like, slightly annoyed by him. Anyway, oh yeah, I shouldn't delete any of those messages. So I'll keep the chat window somewhat open, so if anybody says something else new, then I'll just look at it. Anyway, into the show. So school is gonna be a thing. So I guess we're going to past tense. I guess I can use this opportunity to talk about just generally my previous experience in school and what my seasons were appropriate. What I said in the description of this live stream. Nothing happened in the world of Facebook, so I was thinking Domshin might be able to be here today, except Domshin hasn't said a single word all day, so I don't know what he's doing right now. He said he was doing work for today, but he hasn't really described what type of work that is, and to be fair, I don't really care. But yeah, well, not right now, anyway. So, anyway, back about school. So, like I said, some people apparently start school in mid-August, which is a bit weird. And I guess to get more Top Gear-ish, Russell, he actually started school in the 3rd week of August, was kind of interesting. So, of course, Russell started. Yeah, anyway, like I was saying, Russell started school in the 2nd and 3rd week of August. Domtron started college, or school, college, whatever you want to call it. I guess we're going to say school. started school in the 4th week of August, and so I guess now it might only be right that I start school in the 1st week of September. Yeah. So that's pretty much how it's always been for the province school system. And I guess now to get into the more bread and butter. This live stream, I'm gonna try to make it an hour long. Well, I say that I'm gonna make it a bit short if I run out of things to talk about. Well, I guess if I run out of things to talk about school, I'll talk about some other things. I guess. What's supposed to now? 10 year for me started very bumpy, and I have homecoming. The heck is homecoming? It doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah. Meanwhile, I don't really know that much about school in Russell's world. I guess it's like only a one class thing. Like Russell only goes to one class a day or something, or two classes. I don't actually know. I have absolutely no idea. Donald Trump, his school is a completely different story, so I'm not even gonna go into that. For me, however, my school is pretty much as standard as you can possibly get. Yeah, so I guess I'll say right now, I'm not gonna tell you which school I exactly go to, but I will at least say that the high school in question that I do go to is part of the province school district, which is one of the worst school districts in the world. Yeah, it's a bit insane how throwing to Bob and a meme lord, one who has good taste, good skill, and actually has a fully functioning brain, or at least a 90% functioning brain. A person like me goes to the worst school district at least in the entirety of America, anyway. The school is low-key in the middle class, yeah, pretty much. As you see right there, Russell pretty much described it perfectly. The school that I go to is honestly rubbish. It tries to be the worst school in the entirety of the province school district. And I'll get into that in a bit, but actually, I'm probably going to get into it now because I'll be going to this particular school for the 12th grade, which is going to be my senior year. So it's the last school grade ever that I have to worry about. And if you're wondering, for anyone about college or transition, well, I can already tell you that I am not going to any of that rubbish. No college, none of that transition, none of that rubbish that they like to offer. Because with how bad high school is right now, it makes me not even want to touch college with a 10-foot pole because, it's like people have interpreted college to be a terrible thing, and, I might be a bit of a fool to think that, college is a terrible thing, but at the same time, I really don't need college, honestly, which, again, I'll get into, but, so just 12th grade, that's it. After that, no more school for me, ever. And I'm never going to have to worry about school ever again, so thank goodness for that. If you're wondering why I'm being so negative about school, well, I'm going to get into that. Well, that's kind of the whole point of this live stream, just so I can pretty much ramble about school. That's why I call it Ramblings about school. So, I guess now to get to my previous experiences at school. So, like I said before, the school that I go to, probably one of the worst in America, and maybe even the world. It is so bad. Like, it is the NASCAR heat evolution of school. It is so bad. Like, so bad. I'm gonna finish it most likely. That's actually a little bit interesting, but yeah, I go to a school that is so bad. Like, really, really bad. And if you want to know how bad, well, let's see. I guess picture doing something that is really boring, agonizing, and just overall mentally painful. It's not mentally demanding; it's just mentally painful. And so doing that, and then doing that about 180 times over, or I guess 170 if you're not gonna go to a single day of the year. That's how many days there are in the province district. Should be a lot less, or it should be none, but it's terrible, honestly. And the reason why I go to this school, or the reason why I went to this school in the first place, way back in the 9th grade, back when I was transitioning from middle school to high school, was because basically there was, well, I guess you know, when we got to the point where it was late, what's I'm trying to think here, late high school, I guess, or no, late middle school. You know, like, you know that time in the 8th grade where you get around to the point where you essentially choose the high school that you're gonna go to. Well, when that time arrived, I was accepted into, well, the school that I go to now, because they advertised this program where you can go and develop games and stuff and do stuff with computers and stuff. And I guess at the time when I was going from middle school to high school, you know, back then, I guess I had a little mini passion for making games or wanting to make games and like that because, well, I don't know really why now, because that's a bit of an afterthought now, by the way. But at the time, I guess I had a really big interest in, you know, learning how to make games and stuff like that. And I was supposed to learn how to do all that stuff when going to the high school that I was supposed to go to, or go to now, I guess. So that's why I was accepted into the high school that I go to now. And at first, I was a little bit excited. You know, it was gonna be a new thing, and I was, like I said, I was a little bit excited about going there. And you know, high school was gonna be very different from middle school because I was coming off of middle school then, and well, I guess you know, I say coming off of middle school, more so coming off of the worst 3 years of my life. Like, middle school was honestly a massive train wreck for me. You know, it was the worst experience of my life. You know, there was all these kids who were, you know, bullies and, well, not even bullies, just, you know, kids that were all just, how do I describe it? You know, brain dead. Well, I didn't realize at the time, but, you know, they were brain dead, they were stupid, they didn't know what they were doing, which just goes to show how bad the education system is. But yeah, so, oh, but not only that though, you also had the teachers in middle school who were just as bad as students, you know. You know, the principals, they'll say like, oh, we have a zero bully, no, what was it called? A zero tolerance for bullying. Which is a complete lie, well, yeah, it is a complete lie, because, you know, in my 3 years of going to middle school, I had seen so many kids get bullied in 3 years that went. Heck, I was one being bullied, so I was trying to get my, you know, I was trying to get back and bullying them back in return because, you know, of course, back in my days of middle school, you know, I was one for really seeking revenge, and I still seek revenge to this day. I'm still a revenge-seeking person. I'll always be a revenge-seeking person. But back in my days of middle school, I was especially a revenge-seeking person. Even to the point where I would threaten to game at somebody, and which went over pretty well with the other teachers and stuff. You know, they were sausages. And you know, so overall, middle school was the worst 3 years of my life. I mean, funnily enough, though, in those 3 years that I went to middle school, you know, middle school just happened to not be the only reason why 2013 through 2016 were the worst in my life. There are actually more reasons than that to what made those years so terrible for me in my life. 2015 being the worst, of course. But yeah, so I was coming off of middle school, off of the 4 worst years of my life, and then I went to high school, and you know, of course, neither was a thing. I guess the computer class that I went to, though, in question, the class that I went to learn how to make games and stuff, that was honestly an absolute letdown. like the computers they had there in the computer class, which was supposed to be the class where I would learn how to make games, those were some of the worst computers in the world. Like I'd say the computer that I have, that I use for my own stuff to make, you know, YouTube videos and play train simulator and stuff like that, I would say that my computer is honestly a lot more powerful than most computers. Anyway, how big is school? Let's say big enough to hold 800 students, I guess. But yeah, I would say that my computer, my personal computer that I use, was more powerful than all of those computers that they had in that quote unquote computer gaming class or gaming development class. Than any of those computers put together. Yeah. It's like, um, it's like this is supposed to be a class where I'm supposed to know how to develop games. And games, they're supposed to be something that is, I go to 2,000 people. Holy, that's actually big. But, yeah, games are supposed to be things that are, really high graphics. I mean, Forza Horizon 4, for example, that game is so, like, big and so, what's the word? I guess so, I don't know what, I forgot what to say. Well, so sausagey, I can't run Forza Horizon 4 on my computer to save its life. Oh, man, imagine trying to run Forza Horizon 4 on one of those school computers. The game would just cause the computer to just spin so fast that it would burn up, catch fire, and be completely useless. Yeah. And yeah, they expected us to use those computers to make games. Like, you have to be joking. And funnily enough, I didn't even learn a single thing about developing games in that computer class. Yeah, I learned a few things here and there about coding, which I quickly forgot. But for the most part, class itself was not even close to what it was advertised as. Yeah, didn't learn a single thing about developing games. Didn't learn a single thing about anything to do with coding at all. Well, okay, like I said, I learned stuff about coding, but I quickly forgot about it because it was all irrelevant information. And the teacher there too, I don't even think she knew anything about game developing. I bet she probably never developed a game in her life and was just there for a paycheck, because that's pretty much every teacher these days. Let's face it. Yeah. I bet you, all the teachers would probably be screaming like paycheck whenever a student, is a silly salty and stuff like that. But of course, teacher probably can't do that because then they would get fired, and then they would reveal to all the dumb students that what school really is. But I'll get to that actually in a bit. Because the computer class was completely misleading. But besides that, though, to be fair, 9th grade wasn't actually that bad. In fact, 9th grade was actually pretty good, I would say. Almost good as 4th grade, which is not Mexico week, which is unphrased relevant to today's stream. But of course, it's a siren. See, most of our schools use Windows 8 computers in one. The modern Apple PCs, yeah. Let's say the computers in my school. When I first got there, they used Windows 7. Yeah, Windows 7. Fun fact, I used to use Windows 7, but then I stopped using Windows 7 as soon as I got my gaming computer, which I use now. Which is obviously on Windows 10. But, luckily for when I went to 11th grade, they actually bought to upgrade the computers to Windows 10. So hey, they did something right with that. So yeah, yeah, Windows 7. It's not that not that relevant anymore. Heck, yeah. Funny fact: Microsoft is gonna stop supporting Windows 10 or Windows 7 next year. So. So I say right now, if somebody out there is still using a Windows 7 computer in the year 2019, upgrade to Windows 10 as soon as possible, because Windows, yeah, I'm sorry, Windows 7 just isn't really good for anything these days. Windows 10 is king. I've decided in terms of all the Windows. Well, it's the newest program, so it has to be. But anyway, yeah, but 9th grade, to be fair, wasn't that was pretty good, to be honest. Besides computer class, I did, and again, we did play some games in computer class, so that was interesting. I mean, yeah, to be fair, honestly, 9th grade really wasn't that bad, or was it? It was pretty good, honestly. Like I honestly really don't have that many memories from ninth grade, apart from the fact that grade was actually pretty good, I guess. Well, apart from gym class, which I'll get to later. But yeah, to be fair, ninth grade was pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it was still pretty forgettable, to be honest, but at least it wasn't filled with pain and suffering like the following grade. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess the thing that made ninth grade so good though was, it was interesting, I would say, I guess, like, what I'm trying to say here. I guess the thing that made, what am I trying to say here? That made, I forgot what to say. The thing that made ninth grade so good was, I think, well, the first thing is that realistically it was the first grade that wasn't all stupid. Like, like I said before, I was coming off of middle school, which was a 3-year... Wait, what the heck is that? Oh, weird noise. I'm just gonna close my window because there's some noise from outside. So you don't want getting onto the live stream. Oh, great. Hang on just a second. We have some other sausages. I need to make sure I'm not going crazy. Yeah. Yes, this is all very, very salty, I know. Yeah. Okay, shut up my fan now because reasons. Yeah. I hope it doesn't get noxious too much, so I'm going to do some checking. I check what else is supposed to do. I probably will, actually. Gotta make sure my voice can turn off my thingy. Yeah, this is a sausage stream now. Yeah. Alright, it's not bad. I guess. Anyway, so getting back to what I was talking about earlier. So, I think the thing that made ninth grade actually a good grade is that, like I said, I was coming off of 3 years of misery and pain and suffering from middle school. And, darn it, what else was I going to say? I don't remember. Yeah. I guess, let's just say, it was, unlike middle school, it was fun, it was entertaining, and, I actually got some enjoyment out of ninth grade. I don't exactly remember how, I just remember that it was actually a good grade. Why it was good, I can't actually remember. I guess it was just, it was interesting, it was enjoyable, it wasn't rubbish, it wasn't stupid, it wasn't trying to make my life miserable. It was actually a grade that was actually trying to be good and not absolutely rubbish like middle school was, and, yeah. Oh, again, the teachers, and I think, that's another thing, teachers in my high school, they're actually, well, let's say they're nice teachers, I wouldn't call them good teachers, but they are, they have a good, they have a good personality, but I wouldn't call them good in general. Yeah. So, yeah. I can't still remember my first day of kindergarten. Oh, that's the story for another day. But yeah, I can't really remember, though, what made, ninth grade so good, but it was just a good grade, honestly. I actually enjoyed it. Yeah, I can't remember why. I just remember that was a good grade, I guess. I honestly can't say anything more beyond that. Yeah, but then we get to 10th grade, which I can remember for being absolutely terrible. Like, oh man, like, I like how we go from 6th, 7th, and 8th grade being the 3 worst grades ever, to 9th grade, which I'd say is my second best grade, or second favorite grade, I guess, besides 4th grade. And then we go to 10th grade, which is almost as bad as as my days in middle school. Like, yeah, we go, we go from being really, really deep in a valley to a really high mountain, and back to a really deep valley again. You know, it's basically like that. Yeah, basically like that. So yeah. So of course I can't really remember honestly what made ninth grade so good. You know, that's honestly probably a good thing, I guess. Well, I don't really know, but it's not really relevant, I guess. But anyway, getting on to 10th grade now. Now, 10th grade, I remember it for being absolutely terrible. Yeah, isn't it interesting how I can't remember what made ninth grade so good, but I can remember what made 10th grade so terrible? I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but either way, yeah. So, and 10th grade was, let's see, I guess to describe 10th grade, it was pretty much like ninth grade, except dumbed down so much to a point where honestly a 5-year-old could do all the work. You know, it's like we go from, you know, ninth grade, which, you know, kind of requires a brain to do things. You know, it's like, you know, like going to 10th grade, everything became so simplified, so dumbed down, and just so boring and unenjoyable. You know, it was like that somebody up in the school ranks, you know, they were like, this is too much goodness. We need to make everything a lot more simple, boring, and unenjoyable, but the students won't care about it because they're all a bunch of idiots. Yeah, and I'll be honest, that's pretty much what vast majority of school is made up. You know, just a bunch of idiots, just a bunch of stupid kids with an IQ of 1, but, yeah. Except I bet you that somebody up in the school ranks didn't realize that a person by the name of Frowny13 went to that school, and this person by the name of Frowny13 just happens to be the smartest person in the entire school by a country mile. Yeah. I know that sounds, you know, a bit, you know, I know, like, I might sound a bit arrogant in saying that, but the worst part about that is that I think it's honestly believed it's true. You know, might not be true, but I just think it is true. Yeah. So, anyway, like I was saying, so, what am I trying to say here? I guess building on a point from before, pretty much the reason why 10th grade was just so terrible was pretty much because every day just felt the same. Like, I remember briefly talking about this in a live stream that I did a year ago, but the thing that made 10th grade so terrible was I guess somewhat the amount of repetition that 10th grade was all about. It was practically doing the exact same thing over and over again. Like, I guess to put it into perspective, I'm pretty sure every Tim Tom and Friends fan, I guess, knows about the Miller era. So basically, season 13 through 16. You know how the episodes in that era, where every episode was basically the same, and the only difference in the episode, you know, was pretty much the main character, when they were locations, where they were at, and okay, we have a notification for Facebook. So check that. If it's Domshon, it's not Domshon, is it? Oh, it's Russell. Okay. Anyway, so anyway, like I was saying, like I was saying about the Miller era, like, I guess describing the Miller era in short, like every single episode was basically the same, where it was pretty much, you pretty much had the main character do 3 stupid things, and then, realize the mistake and then fix it. That's basically what 10th grade was like, where the work assignments, where from one work assignment to another, the next assignment was basically exactly the same thing as the previous assignment, except a different path, different place. Like basically every single assignment went like this. Like, I guess the only slight difference in between the different classes, like we had math, we had I guess we had math, we had history, and science. Well, which are all very fake classes, by the way. So basically, I think in history, I guess is the most simplest thing. We would basically have to read the passage about whatever the topic is, write down the definitions of whatever words there are in the thing, I guess, because there were also definition words I had to write down. I had to write down the words and the definition to a silly little notebook. You had to do that. And then you had to answer questions based on the passage text, and that was it. Yeah. Now, doing that once isn't so bad. But the thing that made it so terrible was we had to do it. We had to repeat the same process so many times over that I can't even count. At least, like, I guess to put it, to overly exaggerate, it was about 1 billion times, you know? Like 1 million times over, 1 billion times over, I guess, you know? Like, I know that's an exaggeration, but whatever the number was, I don't know the exact number, it was definitely a very big number. Like, I'd say in the, like, if we're gonna be realistic, I would say it was at least in 200s. Yeah. It was that repetitive. And there was no challenge to it either. No challenge to it at all. Basically, the easiest A in the history of the world. Well, one easiest A anyway, I'll get to that later on. But it was just, like, come on, man. There was, like, no creativity and you know, what was worse about that is the fact that, you know, the teacher, the main teacher, I guess, in the whole classroom, I won't mention her name, but, you know, Russell, no snoring. This is important stuff. But yeah, so basically, I'm a terrible speaker when I'm unscripted, by the way. See, this is why I usually write scripts whenever I talk about things, and not this on stream. But anyway, it was pretty much just doing the same thing over and over again. And there was no challenge to it either. You know, so, which made it even more boring, unenjoyable, and just, nah. You know? And like I was saying, I guess I was saying before until I forgot. You know, the main teacher, I guess, of the classroom. Yes, the main teacher. I know I'm original. You know, it wasn't even, like, the assignments that we were doing, they weren't even, like, organically created by the main teacher herself. You know, it's like, she didn't just, come up with something to teach us. No, this was all stuff out of a textbook. You know, like, how unoriginal can you possibly get? Or how, well, I guess, or unoriginal and lazy can you possibly get? It's like, you know, you know, if you're gonna be a teacher and, like, do stuff off textbooks, you don't have to put that much effort in at all. You pretty much have to do whatever the textbook says. You know, you don't need any skill or any form of creativity at all. You pretty much have to do what you're told, which is about one of the easiest things to do in the world. Because well, I guess that depends on the difficulty. I guess. Well, I guess on occasion, sometimes doing what somebody else tells you to do is a bit difficult. But in this case, it was the easiest thing to do in the world. Like, all the main teacher had to do was pretty much just make copies of the textbook in forms of paper. You know, pretty much know what we're supposed to be doing, or not. And well, your she's more entertaining. Yeah, I agree. Oh man. Yeah, this is why this was a bad idea, to be honest. Yeah, this stream is rubbish, by the way. Yeah, I'm starting to think this live stream is a bit of a mistake, because I don't know what to say. I bet you everything that I said probably was up like a few minutes or something, but anyway. So, and I forgot what to say. Yeah, I'm not good at this, by the way. Yeah, the stream, I'm starting to regret the stream now. It was a bit of a mistake. Probably should have done something else instead. But anyway, getting back on the topic. Yeah, I forgot what I was saying. Hang on, what did I say? Yep, this is back, by the way. Okay, yeah, so the teacher pretty much had to just copy the page out of the textbook. And, oh, great, now YouTube's being stupid. Just copy and paste out of the textbook and pretty much pen and paper, and that was the lesson. Yeah. Yeah, it's also a thing that really made me hate repetition and just hate doing the same thing over and over again. Cause doing the same Russell, no snoring. But yeah, doing the same thing over and over again is just the worst thing ever, honestly. Especially when there's no challenge to it. And you're pretty much just being babied around it. You know? Because the main teacher's so lazy and so uncreative that they're just like, I'll just dumb everything down because I have absolutely no creativity. I'm the laziest teacher in the world. It's like, oh man. What a way to earn a paycheck, eh? Yeah. Yeah, so that was pretty much 10th grade, and I guess to add some more sausages to it, that was the main teacher idea of doing things. There was one occasion, well, there was 2 occasions actually, where the main teacher took a break from, basically, being a teacher in school. And for that time, a substitute had to come in, and the substitute in question, actually tried to put an effort in trying to make, 10th grade more interesting. I guess to give an example, is basically what happened is that this other substitute teacher, she knew that we were really bored doing practically the same thing over and over again. So she tried to make things a bit more interesting, and it was basically this this research project where we would simply write out a paragraph or something about a topic that we are really interested in, and do a thing. And yeah, unsurprisingly, it was one of the few lessons that I actually enjoyed. Also with the next thing. And why don't you just take a long time after they have their baby to return to work? You don't need 3 months to do that. You only need like 4 weeks. Yeah, I don't know anything about that, but okay, fair enough. But yeah, so basically, like I said, it was this research project where we could pretty much write a paragraph or something about whatever we wanted to, and unsurprisingly, this was a lesson I actually enjoyed. Like, I guess the only lessons that I really like in school are the ones that really involve my own creative input, And basically, the subject I did was the East Coast Main Line. Yeah. Because, like, right around late 2017, in the time period in general, I was starting to learn a lot more about British trains, and I came to really like the East Coast Main Line in Britain, yeah. And, I love the East Coast Main Line, and I love British trains in general. Well, I say I love British trains in general. That's a bit of a lie, actually. Okay. Actually, it's actually the case that, well, never mind, whatever, that doesn't matter. But yeah, British trains, I found them to be cool, and so I did a thing about them. And, but you won't know what happened after that. Basically what happened is that someone from the school board came in and say, hey, we can't do this is too much, we gotta stick to the curriculums. Yeah, so basically then the teachers say, oh, but we gotta stick to the curriculum, which, yeah, so apparently the school curriculum means that you must dumb down your lessons as much as possible because I guess students putting their own creative work into, in fact, I just realized now, like, how what am I trying to say here, how sick the school curriculum is. I just yeah, I like how now I'm talking about it, I just realized how sick the school curriculum was back in late 2017. Basically, this was a special education. This was in a special education. Bob can't speak English. This was basically in a special education class, by the way. Basically, the curriculum wants the teachers to simply dumb down their lessons to baby level, basically. You know, like, the curriculum basically says, no, we do not want our kids to show their creative side. We want them to do the same boring stuff they do every single day because we're lazy and we just want money. Yeah, I like how only now I realize this, again, how sick this school curriculum is. Like, yeah, yeah, so after that, I went back to being bored. And, yeah, that's pretty much 10th grade for you. Also, I guess to give you another interesting idea, so that was the first time the main teacher, what was I here? I guess decided to go on the hiatus. The second time that happened, though, another teacher came in, or another substitute came in, and once again, this other substitute actually did everything in her power to make the class more interesting. Russell, it's not boring. It's called. I'm actually getting traction now, only just. But yeah, so this other substitute teacher, again, she again tried to put in every effort in her power to make the class more interesting. And she actually kind of did that. You know, we looked up the newspaper every morning, which I thought was interesting. We even went outside to play on the close-by playground when we were faced with work, so I thought that was actually pretty cool. Yeah. And honestly, that's pretty much just on the 12th grade. Overall, 10th grade was terrible. Absolutely awful. You know, there were a few good moments that happened in 10th grade, but the majority of it was just the same boring thing every single day. Oh, come on, Red. Russell, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like I go from being actually a bit of a boring commentator to then actually gaining some traction. But apparently Russell's still like, it's just boring. Well, anyway. Getting back on track. Now that I just turned my phone. So that was 10th grade pretty much. Yeah, like I said, overall, it was boring, it was repetitive, and I hated it. I got all A's, but I don't care. So, yeah. But then we get into 11th grade. Now, 11th grade was also very bad, I'm going to start by saying. Although, you know, 11th grade was pretty much just awful. Huge stream like just a clown show. Funny enough, to give you a heads up, that's how my 11th grade went as well. So, 11th grade. Yeah. I honestly can't, though, decide which grade is worse, being 10th grade or 11th. You know, like, which one of the two grades is worse? I honestly don't really know. But, I can't at least tell you that both those grades were rubbish. So I guess now, to get into why 11th grade was rubbish. Now, 11th grade, it was rubbish. Although, for slightly different reasons that 10th grade was. Now, of course, 10th grade was pretty much a dumbed down version of 9th grade. 11th grade, however, was somewhat different, but at the same time, very similar. So, I guess, like I say right now, for 9th and 10th grade, I pretty much just stayed in the same room for most of the day. Yeah, there were a few occasions in the day where I'd go out for other classes. I also went out for lunch, stuff like that. 11th grade, however, I would go out to each individual class that I had, basically. So it was pretty much math, history, I call it history, English, and gym class, which was a Mrs. also, by the way, which we're getting to. And I guess in addition, there was also the computer class again, and chemistry. I'll get into how badly that went, but anyway, yeah. So 11th grade. At first, I actually found 10th grade for me was quite forgettable. Yeah, same here actually. 10th grade was honestly also a very forgettable grade for me. Yeah. That reminds me. Funny fact. When I got to the reading period on my first day of 11th grade, you know, the teacher asked me, what was 10th grade like? And I said, 10th grade was forgettable, it was boring, it sucked, and it was rubbish. And funnily enough, after that, the teacher said, well, let's hope to make 11th grade more memorable. Funnily enough, 11th grade was just about as forgettable as 10th, for reasons that I'm going to get into right now. So 10th to 11th grade. To be fair, early on, it was actually a little bit interesting. You know, it was a little interesting going out to different classes, you know. I think the thing about that made 11th grade, I guess, slightly better than 10th is the fact that I wasn't just stuck in the same room for the whole day. I was only stuck in one room for an hour and a half at a time. So, there was that. But I guess later, you know, I guess as time went on, 11th grade started to become 10th grade all over again. Once again, it was pretty much just doing this, practically the same thing over and over again. Every day felt similar. I was learning nothing new. Well, okay, I was learning stuff that was new, and then quickly forgetting about it. And, yeah. And, funnily enough, though, everything wasn't easy in 10th grade, as a matter of fact. Yeah, funnily enough, in 10th grade, everything was so easy that I was pretty much getting A's across the board. Whereas with 11th grade, I was pretty much getting a mix of A's, B's, and C's. Yeah. When I say A's, I got one A in the first quarter, and everywhere else was either a B or a C. Yeah. Yeah, that was how much stupid, or how stupid that 11th grade was getting. And that was only the first quarter. So I guess to go into, you know, of course, luckily, like I said earlier, 10th, 11th grade was basically united to go to different classes and stuff like that. So, yeah, funnily enough, now we go to each different classes, and each class has its own individual problem. Firstly being math. Okay, I'll be honest, math wasn't that bad. Or at least math itself. It says, for the final grading period of 11th grade, I got all 100s, which 100s are rare to me, so I can't proud of myself. Okay. But anyway, for me, for 11th grade, so 11th math class, funnily enough, wasn't even that bad of a class, for the most part. I was actually getting 2 grades at a time in math class, because one of them was pretty much math itself, which, again, wasn't even that bad. But then there was this website called Alex. Now, if you've never heard of Alex, I can tell you right now, it is one of the worst websites I've come across in my entire life. Well, I say come across, I was pretty much introduced to it, but, oh man, is Alex terrible. Like, it is so terrible. Like, it is the definition of repetition. It was pretty much 10th grade all over again. Like I said, in some ways, 11th grade was pretty much 10th grade all over again. But with Alex, this website, it was pretty much 11th grade in a nutshell. I was pretty much just doing the same thing over and over again. It was pretty much a game of, getting introduced to a math topic, doing a few questions to do with the math topic, and yeah. And again, funnily enough, just doing it once isn't so bad, but doing it a million times over, oh my god, is it agonizing. Yeah. It was really agonizing. So, with that being said, so Alex was a terrible website. Absolutely terrible. It was repetitive, boring, and pretty much 11th grade in a nutshell. Yeah, there you go. So that was the problem with math, and I'll actually talk more about Alex later on in a bit, but then we get to history, which was next. That class, oh man, history class was even worse than math. Because the teacher there, now to be fair, the teacher there in question, he was a cool guy. I liked him. His personality was nice. He was a cool guy. He didn't get angry all the time. And overall, I honestly liked him. Well, I liked his personality. His personality was pretty good. And it was likable. If he was my friend or something, I could probably sit down with him and have a nice conversation with him. Unfortunately, that didn't reflect his teaching abilities. Like, oh man, though, when it came to the teaching part of this teacher, oh my goodness, was he terrible. Like, I think the worst part about it was how poorly coordinated his lessons were. Like, basically, it is like everything was so complicated. Like I honestly can't describe every part of it. So I guess I'll just describe what happened off the top of my head. Basically, I guess we basically had to listen to a lecture for a certain amount of time, and then we had to sort of apply the information to a test, I guess. And well, oh man, like history class was so complicated. I guess I'll now break down every single bit and bob of that history class was all about. Basically, let's make sure we never talk about on top here, probably. But yeah, so basically, in history class, basically, each period consisted of this, or was supposed to consist of this, where we would read a passage. For the first 30 minutes, it was like a history class or like a history period in 10th grade, where we pretty much read a passage, wrote down the definitions in the notebook, and answered certain questions. Yeah. After that, we pretty much listened to a lecture about either something to do with the lesson or something completely utterly different. And then by the end of the week, or some random point of the week, we had to do a test about it. And, I remember history class for being very poorly coordinated. I guess because, well, I honestly can't remember why, off the top of my head, to be honest. It's probably a good thing that I can't remember. But I think that, I'm trying to remember this. Think. What made history class so terrible and so poorly coordinated, like you say? That's a tough question I can't really answer. Well, I guess to give you, actually, I just remembered. It came back to me now. Now that I just thought about it. Basically, we had to answer a certain set of questions. And we had to get the answer to the questions off of a PDF file. And let's just say, the PDF file in question had zero relation to the questions at all. Like, it was pretty much impossible to find the answers to the questions in this PDF file. Yeah. So basically, oh man, history class was a mess. Thankfully, I only had to suffer the pain that I had to suffer for the first half of the year. But yeah, history class, oh man, was history class a mess. It was a big mess. And honestly, before chemistry, history class I considered to be the worst class of the whole year. Just because of how just terribly coordinated it was. Yeah. Then we get into gym class, which I somehow haven't talked about again in this live stream, because I actually have been going to the same gym class for 9th, 10th, 11th, and I bet you I'm going to have to go back there for 12th grade. So gym class, it is an absolute clown show, because the gym teachers there, they have absolutely no idea what they're doing. At all. Like, you have this one oh my goodness, I just got my head, me on the thing of the day. You have this one gym teacher who is literally just there for a paycheck, and is a complete lazy butt. You have this other teacher, who just screams inaudibly, and tries to make a big deal of it, but it utterly fails. You have this other teacher, this other female teacher, who is, let's say, very delusional. And then on top of that, you have this one teacher who is a teacher. Yeah, this is a gym teacher, by the way, who is old, clapped out, and can't even get down the stairs without holding onto the railing. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I would nickname her Mrs. Moneymaker, because she's literally just there for a paycheck. That's it. She's literally there for no other reason, just a paycheck. And, gym class, they'll also introduce all these gimmicks, which utterly fail every single time. Of course, the gym teachers, they choose to keep shoving it down our throats because, of course, the majority of gym class made up by all these silly sausages, which I'll actually get into later. These silly sausages who have an IQ of 1. On a side note, this live stream, I was going to end it in 6 minutes, but, I'm gonna make it a bit longer, because now this is actually getting quite entertaining. But anyway. So gym class was overall an absolute mess, and I might actually get into more detail on that a bit later. And then there was what am I trying to say here? Then there was the reading class, which was pretty boring, honestly. And funnily enough, the reading class actually has a lot in common with the math class, where on one side we had the actual reading class, which I guess sometimes it was fun and sometimes it was boring, I suppose. And then you have this other website, which is pretty much exactly the same as Alex, but just as terrible. By the name of Reading Plus, and if you never heard of that, it's literally as agonizing as Alex, where you pretty much just read a passage, answer questions related to the passage, and then rinse and repeat a million times over. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm actually gonna get into more detail about both of us a bit later on how they were so stupid. But yeah, that was that. So reading class, the actual, like I said again, the reading class, sometimes it was boring, sometimes it was actually pretty decent, but then there was the reading plus, which just game into the whole thing, which again I'll talk more about later. But anyway, yeah, so that was that. I'll get into more details some of this stuff later, but next we have chemistry class. Now I guess for the second period of the day, for the first half of the year I would go to history class, but then the second half of the year I would go to chemistry class. Now, when the history class came to an end and I never had to go to class again, I was glad that I never had to go to history class ever again, because it was so terrible. But then came chemistry, which was worse. Which was definitely worse. Like, I'd say that chemistry class was the worst class of the year. And the reason why, shockingly enough, chemistry has a lot in common with history, chemistry. It's got a teacher that, again, is nice to talk to, has a nice personality, and is likable, and, overall someone you can hold a conversation with. Except is absolutely terrible at teaching. So, yeah, absolutely terrible at teaching. So there's that. Let's just say, when we first got into chemistry class, we had this introductory test thingy-madoobie flip of sausages, which had a lot of stuff that I didn't even understand, and all the stuff about, all stuff about electrons, sausagetrons, and Jimmy Neutrons, basically. Which I didn't even understand any of it. And I still don't understand any of it. In fact, I pretty much forgotten everything that I, quote-unquote, learned from chemistry. It was like a terrible class. And, well, I was gonna say. Yeah, it was terrible. I actually managed to get an F in chemistry class in the 4th quarter. That's how bad that class was. Yeah. So, I guess getting more details as to why it was bad. Well, once again, everything was poorly coordinated. Nothing had any relation to each other. They made this, teachers, I told the teachers this, and they made this a big deal about how I need to take notes. Well, see, there's a reason why I don't like to take notes in school. It's because I've had a long history of taking notes on during a certain lecture, and then the notes being completely useless when it comes to the test. Basically, basically we're supposed to take notes, and we're supposed to use these notes when we come to the test. Except the problem with that is that when I actually get to the test, the notes that I've written down in the lectures are completely useless and have zero relation to the test at all. So that's why I just never bother anymore to write down notes in my quote-unquote notebook during these lectures. Of course, people say, oh, you need to take notes because you're going to use them in the test. And I'm just like, mate, the notes are going to be useless, so what's the point? And that was, I think that was best represented in chemistry. I actually wrote down the notes at first, but then came the test, and notes were useless. And I failed all the tests. And I didn't care either, so we have that to go off of. Yeah, I failed a number of tests in chemistry class. And you know what? I don't care that I failed all those tests because chemistry class is a waste of time, and none of that stuff that I was supposed to learn there is going to help me out in the future, so what's the point? Yeah. Anyway, so chemistry class was absolutely terrible for those reasons, I guess. Yeah, not much more I can say. Oh yeah, Oh yeah, that's another thing I don't just remember to mention about chemistry class is that I think the worst part about chemistry class is that it had potential to be good. The thing about this chemistry class is that it was like in an actual science lab where you would do experiments, maybe blow some stuff up along the way, and see what happens and what does what and what's this and what's that and what's all this other sausagery. Basically, it's pretty much science. Basically, we actually did a few science experiments, a few, but not very many at all. Like, next to none. Well, okay, a few, but that was it. The rest of the time, we did just paperwork. You didn't need much more than a pencil, a stupid pencil, and a stupid piece of paper. Yeah. So, with that being said, yeah. Yeah, chemistry. It had so much potential to be an actually good, entertaining class. And yet, it was the exact opposite of that. It was poorly coordinated. It was terrible. It was boring. I didn't even like a single second of it. Oh. Meanwhile, Thompson is tell you what, I'm gonna use Hangouts to message Thompson right now. Just curious, but did Thompson say Hangouts at all today? Oh, maybe. Anyway, I'll mess about Thompson later because I'm gonna stream now. So anyway, yeah. So I'll share my phone again. But yeah, so chemistry class was terrible. It was so poorly coordinated that well, again, it was poorly coordinated, and it had lots of potential to be a good period, and yet it wasn't. What was even? Well, I guess another thing is that at the beginning, like in early February when we were first going to this chemistry class, at the beginning of third quarter, by the way, this was, the teacher, he did this, this sort of like thing, like lab safety, basically. It's basically, the rules of the lab. Don't be an idiot, don't do this, don't do that, use your brain, blah blah blah. My chair sounds so freaking sausage. Yeah, there was all this big deal about being safe and stuff and using your brain. Heck, what's even funnier that the chemistry teacher at the start, he asked us the question of what is the most important piece of equipment to use during the lab, and nobody knew this until the teacher told us. And according to him, the most important piece of lab equipment to use in the lab is your brain. Yeah, which I honestly can agree with. In fact, using your brain in a lab, or in general, is honestly very important, I would say. Like, I would actually agree with him, with my chemistry teacher, or with the chemistry teacher, that using your brain is the most important thing, or most important piece of lab equipment to use in the lab. But yeah, I like how we made a big deal about all this stuff, and yet we barely did any labs at all. And the labs that we did do, as a matter of fact, didn't even require that much, I guess, safety, I suppose. Yeah. So that was that. I guess that's all I have to say about chemistry, but we're not done yet. So anyway, getting back to Alex and Reading Plus, the two worst websites, my mortal enemies, and the two websites that I wish would just die, because they're both trash. It came to a point where I cared so little about those two websites that, you know what I did while trying to do those? Yeah, we had to do these websites on computers, by the way, and they were Chromebooks, and on certain occasions we could sit wherever we wanted in the class. So, and what I would do is that I would sit in somewhere where nobody could see what I was doing. And I did that, and while I was pretending to be on Alex or Rain Plus or, whichever, I would instead go on to whatever website I so choose, be it NASCAR.com, Train Simulator, and I even use that time to go on a Racing Reference. Yeah. I did some looking into Racing Reference, and I actually love Racing Reference now. It's become one of my favorite websites ever. Love Racing Reference, It's, Racing Reference is simple. It's simple premise, I guess. Simple thingamajiggy, and yet it's so useful. Looking up the history of drivers and history of races and statistics of drivers. I could see how many top 10s or top 5s that my boy got in their career. And yes, this includes Ryan Preece. But anyway, so I did that, and yeah. Like I said, the teachers caught on to it, and they realized that I was getting failing grades from Rain Plus and Alex, because they were both equally as terrible. And I didn't care one bit. I just couldn't care, because there's just no point in trying to do well on either of those websites or on either of those websites, because they're just terrible, like for the reasons I stated earlier. And well, darn it, yeah. So let's say I was starting to get failing grades in those two websites, because those two websites that are stupid, gimmicky, and rubbish, they have their own grades. And some say that if you do too bad on those websites, then you're gonna get the sack, or why say get the sack? More so, you're gonna get a fail. You're gonna fail because reasons. But I didn't care. So I was doing pretty decent in the rest of my classes. Yeah. I was just saying about these websites, but I don't think I should say anything anymore for now. I think I might do that when I look forward, or when I look at what 12th grade might have in store. So I guess it's that. What else to say? I actually think that's about it. I think I pretty much summed up 11th grade in a nutshell. Although I think I might talk about some more about it when I go into my expectations for 12th grade. So I guess I'm going to talk about it now, because I pretty much ran out to talk about for 11th grade. So I guess now it's time to look into. I guess we talked about the past enough. I think now it's time to look forward into the future, 12th grade. So yeah, time to get back into the present. As tomorrow is the first day for me in 12th grade. So honestly, my question is, well, what is there to explore? What to expect for 12th grade? Because to be honest, I don't really know. But I guess what I might do for this bit on this next topic that I want to talk about is, I guess I'll do. I guess talk about what I want 12th grade to be like, and versus what I think 12th grade is be like. So I guess on one end I'll be describing what I hope that 12th grade is like, and what I want. I guess generally what I want 12th grade to be like, and that's the other side of what I think will happen in 12th grade, or what I think realistically will happen in 12th grade. So I guess I guess what was I saying? Well, I guess to start off, to give you some references, so I actually heard some rumors about what might be happening in 12th grade, and I guess this is the thing I should go back about with 12th grade, 11th grade, is that on Fridays, there was this period called advisory. And I would say what advisory is supposed to be about, except I can't. Because advisory serves absolutely no purpose. It's literally just there. Apparently advisory is supposed to serve some purpose, which I don't even know what is. So, advisory, it serves no purpose. It's a completely useless period of the day. just get rid of it. You know, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm hoping that happens in 12th grade. Because well, actually, I say that. I heard that there are some rumors going about the school, or the province school district, that the advisory pretty much getting the sack for Fridays, and this change, I honestly think, will be a great change because there is literally no point in advisory existing at all. So, so I really hope that they get rid of advisory. Well, I hope that the rumors are true anyway. These aren't like, I heard, you know, like again, some said that the advisory is gonna be going away next year, and now although you know I have no confirmation on this, this could be just a rumor. We could just see advisory again next year. I really hope that we don't, though. I really don't want to see advisory back. Again, it's pointless. It serves no purpose. I hope it's gone for next year. Honestly, it's just a waste of time. Another thing. So I guess to say about, I guess once again going back on the 11th grade, going to 12th grade, in terms of Reem Plus and Alex, like I said, I absolutely despise both Alex and Reem Plus, just as much as each other. They're both two very bad, terrible, rubbish, just terrible rubbish websites. You get the point. They're rubbish. Beyond rubbish at that. I really don't want to see either of these two websites back in 12th grade. You know, I really hope. You know, and then, you know, like I said, I just said though that Reed Plus and Alex are absolutely terrible. Funny enough, as dumb as most of the kids in my school are, some of them actually agree with me on that, on the fact that those websites are absolutely terrible. So there's a small possibility that, hey, maybe the school will recognize this, and they'll actually get rid of those two websites, or at least they'll no longer count those websites toward their own separate grade, you know? Or maybe they'll just give us the option to do those two websites. They're not requirement, or they're not a requirement. But I can at least tell you, if that's the case, then I'm going to make sure to stay as far away from Alex and Reed Plus as possible. Because, my God, those websites are so terrible, and I really hope that neither of them make a return in 12th grade. Because they both suck, they're both rubbish, I want them out of here. You know, I guess I really haven't mentioned homework. To be fair, homework really hasn't been that big of a deal in all the years that I've gone to high school. Like I said, I think it's been big of a deal. I guess it wasn't a bit of an overly big deal, but I should have known better because, you know, I'm gonna just say right now, if I ever get a stupid amount of homework to do that should be done in school, Google to the rescue. Yeah, I think really sums it up perfectly. So homework won't be a big deal. I'll make sure, you know, I'm gonna make sure, like again, I'm gonna use Google, of course, to get it done as quickly as possible. So then I can get on to making content for you guys. Yeah, because honestly, I honestly care more about my YouTube channel a billion times more than I care about school. Because my school's a joke. And as for my YouTube channel, I take pride in it. I've had this channel for 7.5 years, and I'm gonna continue to support my channel for hopefully forever. Well, as long as I live, I guess. Well, I say even as long as I live, you know. I guess even if I were to be, if I were to be game ended, then I might just sell this channel to, well, not sell it, but maybe just give this channel to someone else. Maybe Donald Trump. Yeah. But anyway, getting back into the school thinking, I guess, yeah, so homework shouldn't be a big deal. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention another thing that I hate about Reem Plus and Alex. I cared about it so little in school that I was asked to do it at home. Yeah. Luckily I only listened for a while before I pretty much stopped caring about it and never did it at home ever again. And I really hope that those two websites aren't a big deal in 12th grade, but I guess we'll have to see. But anyway, I guess, to be fair though, I survived 11th grade, so I guess as long as 12th grade doesn't have that much effect on what happens outside of school, then, you know, it shouldn't be that bad of a grade, I guess. So, I guess generally for 12th grade, what I want to happen is that I want Green Plus and Alex to be gone. I want Advisory to be gone. To be fair though, if nothing else changed about it from 11th grade, I would honestly be pretty okay with it because, at this point, school is a joke for me. It's just a joke. There is no reason for me to care about school anymore. No reason at all, honestly. No reason. Like, really no reason, honestly. So, I guess that's what I want to happen in 12th grade. But now what I think is going to happen? Well, let's just say, I know I said that I want Green Plus and Alex to be gone and Advisor to be gone. But let's just say those aren't gone. I'll make sure, I guess if Alex and Green Plus are forced upon me, I'll stay as far away from them as possible. I'll do as little as I can if possible, and if my daddy has a problem with it, I'll just, tell him I don't care, and if he can't live with that and he tries to make my life miserable, I might just call the authorities. Honestly, the last thing that I want to do, though, during 12th grade is call the police, but honestly, if it has to get to the point, and if I become so depressed that I have to call the police, I might honestly just do it. I don't want to do it, but if worse comes to worse, I'm going to have to do it, and I will do it. So, I guess that's that. That's for 12th grade. For right now, though, I still have absolutely no idea what 12th grade is going to be like for me. What's going to happen. Of course, tomorrow I'm going to find all that out. What's going to be the story of 12th grade. Yeah. That's pretty much all I have to say about regards to that. Yeah. I guess I should talk about the school bus system now. I honestly can't really say much about it, to be honest. I guess it's okay. It works, but I honestly can't say much about it. Yeah, not much else to say, to be honest. But I guess that's it. I talked about my past experience. I talked about 12th grade, what I think is going to happen versus what I want to happen. Yeah, I wish there was more guys in the chat to tell me, what I missed off, but I guess, if you're watching this back, put in the comment section, what else should I talk about, or what else would you like to know about me in school and stuff like that, but I guess now, that's not the end of live stream, though. There is one more thing that I want to talk about before I end the stream off. It's about a certain student. One that is, well, I think you get the idea when I talk about it. And yes, this student's name will be mentioned. So let's just say, I hate to say this name now though, but yeah, let's just say he goes by name, I hate to say it now, darn it. But yeah, this is a student who's a female, and she goes by the name of, darn it, I can't say it now. I want to say it, but now I'm being restrained from saying it. I think it's because of how, I guess because of how good, though, I've been able to keep, or be able to hide people's names and stuff, so, but, we need her nickname, I guess, now. Alright. Oh my god, this is so stupid of me, but it must be done. Random name generator. This is so stupid. Wait, no, not that one. Where's this one? Here it is. So it was a female. I'm his first name only, I guess. I'm gonna go for English. No, I can't. It was actually a Mexican. So we must make this. Wait, there's no. Oh, gosh darn it. Alright then. Is there a Spanish option? There's a Russian option. Pfft. Screw it, that's what we're gonna do. Olivera. There we go. So this good question will be referred to it as Olivera. There we go. If you don't know the spell, I'll put in the thing. In the chat. Yeah. So, yeah. So this girl question will be now referred to as Olivera. So, let's just say that this girl in question was she's a very interesting girl. but I'd say for all the wrong reasons. So I guess it all started in the summer group thing that I went to, which has some relation to the school I go to, the summer group thing that I went to. It was back in summer of 2016. I was coming off of, well, of course, this was in the time that I was transitioning from middle school to high school. But in between then, this Olivia girl, I really didn't know her much before then, but let's just say that since I was coming out of middle school, you know, I was very silly, I was kind of immature, and I didn't really know what I was doing. And this Olivia girl, she really didn't like what I was doing. She disliked it so much that she actually slapped me. Yeah, I know, it sounds dumb, but to be fair, I deserved it, honestly. I was honestly being very stupid, I should have known better, and to be honest, I deserved that slap. I will admit. But, after that, though, she didn't like me at all. She disliked me so much that, well, she didn't just dislike me, though. In general, her behavior was just terrible, I guess. You know, she was, you know, she's basically your average internet person that you say one negative thing to them, and the person question is so sensitive, they're like, you can't say that, you're a silly soldier. But of course, that's over the internet. Of course, this is real life. And basically, this Olivia, she was so, darn, what was I saying? She was so sensitive to criticism or name calling and any of that stuff. Yeah, she would get furious. She would have lots of meltdowns. Let's just say, you know, the teachers. Well, I mean, I'm never gonna blame the teachers on this. It's this Olivia, you know. I'm not gonna blame the teachers on this. Actually, tell a lie, I am. You know, but anyway, getting to Olivia, she would have a meltdown every single time that a teacher or a student said something that was, I guess, can be considered a little bit objective. But it's like, come on, man. You know. Yeah, she, oh man, she was terrible. I guess to sum it up. But I guess just to get into the, more detail. Or to give you, I guess, a good idea what basically what happened is that, well, let's say she didn't like me at all, which has to do with the fact that, let me say, I liked her the least out of everybody in the whole classroom. Not much to say beyond that, to be honest, but anyway, I guess to get into Olivia in general, basically, in both 9th and 10th grade, she had 13 meltdowns over both grades. Yeah, I think about 13. I'm not actually 100% sure, but I think that was actually how many. But yeah, that many meltdowns in both of those grades. But you wanna know the worst part about that, though? So, you know, she had those meltdowns, you know, she was doing the swearing and being disrespectful. And yet they didn't expel her or suspend her or any of that stuff. She got no punishment for it at all, which I think was the worst part about the whole situation. Like if I was the main teacher in this case, and you know, like if I was a teacher in general, and I had somebody like her in my class, I would expel her straight off the bat. But everyone else was like, yeah, this is fine. Like actually, you know that this is fine meme. Hang on a second. Give me a second. Oh yeah, you know the this is fine meme where the dog is sitting in the fiery room. You know that this is this fine meme. You know what I'm talking about? That's basically what all the teachers there were like. You know? And yet, well, yeah, that's what they were like. They, you know, that's, yeah, what I was saying. But yeah, that was basically what they were like when she was there. And it wasn't until 11th grade, like early 11th grade, where, you know, I was in math class and all of the seats were taken except for one, and a seat that hadn't been taken yet just happens to be the one that was next to me. And this Olivia, she just liked me so much that she didn't want to sit in the leftover seat, so she simply just ran out of the classroom, and I never saw her again. I don't think anyone. Well, yeah, I never saw her again. After that, holy moly, there's a thunderstorm outside. I don't like really care, but just realized it. But yeah, so now Discord message. Seriously, oh my goodness. Is Thompson looked at my message yet? I don't think so. I doubt it. Nah. Oh well, I must spoke with him later. But anyway. Yeah, so basically, I never saw her again for that. And after that, I quickly forgot that Olivra even existed. Yeah. Now, you may wonder, why am I bringing this up? Why am I talking about a girl who I may never see again? You know, well, I'm gonna tell you right now. So recently, I had a dream, and Olivia was in it, and she was behaving exactly like she did when I saw her in real life. And I'm starting to think that this might be foreshadowing to her being a thing in the 12th grade. Now, after she was, well, now I guess what happened is that after that time where she walked out of the classroom, where, you know, like in the situation in math class, after she walked down and never saw her again, you know, and she was transferred to a different school, and then it was said by some that she might return to the high school that I go to. Now I hope that this never happens, but I had that dream, and oh my goodness. I really hope that this dream I had isn't foreshadowing to Olivia potentially coming back to the high school that I go to, and being exactly the same way that she was the last time I saw her. You know, like this dream that I had, like, who knows? Maybe it's just a thing. Maybe it's just a flashback to this Olivia and how she was so terribly behaved. But oh man, I really honestly don't want her back in, you know, in the high school that I go to, because honestly, if that is the case and she comes back there, I might just go on strike. Honestly, I might just tell my dad about it, tell everyone about it, just to get rid of her again. You know, like, I'll cause a ruckus if I have to, just to get her out of that school again. Unless Olivia comes back and she's actually changed. She's not the stupid girl that she was, you know, when I last saw her. And she's actually smart, intelligent. She's not super sensitive to criticism or her name calling or any stuff like that. You know, but oh man, if she comes back and she's exactly the same way that she was last time I saw her, oh my goodness, I can tell you right now, there'll be a ruckus. There will definitely be a ruckus. Is that an English word? Though? Yeah, by the way, I say I use the word ruckus because that's a reference to when Daniel Suarez took down Michael McDowell at ISM, you know, the 4th grade season. Remember that? Oh, I love Daniel Suarez. But, yeah. I will do what, you know, I'll do what Suarez did in that one time at ISM Raceway. If she comes back and if Olivia comes back and she's exactly the same way that she was last time I saw her. So yeah. But, you know, like, the dream might be foreshadowing, but who knows, maybe it's literally just a dream and nothing more. Maybe it's just a reminder of what Olivia was like, and maybe I'll never actually see her again in 12th grade. I can tell you though, you know, I just realized now, if she does come back though, oh man, 12th grade will have some entertainment in it. Oh man, it will. It will. And I'll tell each and every single one of you guys who subscribe to my channel about it. I don't know. I don't know when. Eventually, that's if it happens. But if it doesn't happen, then yeah. That's the story of Olivia. I hope I don't see her for 12th grade. But if I do, then yeah. But if I don't, then you know what? 12th grade will already be a lot easier. Then I just have to get around all the mud, the goo, the rubbish. Yeah. So that's about all I've talked about. Yeah, so I've talked about my experiences in school. I guess follow me on Twitter for tweets and stuff. And ooh, you know what I just decided that thing I might do. I have a phone, fun fact, which does have internet. I might actually take my phone around with me at school and just tweet stuff whilst I'm in school. I might just do that. That would actually be quite interesting. So, I can tell you. So yeah, follow me. Like I said, follow me on Twitter. So I guess you can hear all of the stories of what happens on my first day of 12th grade. And I guess that's all I would talk about. Again, if there's anything else you would like me to talk about, leave it in the comment section of this live stream. Since I guess nobody's watching this live stream anymore. That is about everything I have to say for the stream, I think. But again, if there's anything that I missed, and holy moly, it's raining outside now. If there's anything I missed, again, leave in the comments. Yeah. So this stream went on for half an hour more than I thought it was. I thought it was gonna. I didn't think the stream was gonna be this long, but as it turns out, here we are. As a thunderstorm, I don't like. Yeah, I'm not in the stream because of thunderstorm. By the way, you know, even if this thunderstorm was still going, or even if the stream was supposed to still going, I wouldn't care less. Yeah. But yeah. I guess that's all for today. For this stream. Hope you guys have enjoyed the stream. I know it was long and a bit boring here and there, but I still hope you enjoyed it somehow. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to tune in on Wednesday with the premiere of Bill and Ted Short number 24. See you then, guys. And yeah, see you then, guys. Bye-bye.